Hey, thanks for joining. Graham Wallace here, a writer for Jay's Journal and Belly Up Sports. Last year, I did my first annual MLB standings reveal reaction video. One of the interns we had working with us there, Julie Mulholland, joined me for that. We had a lot of fun with it. I decided to do it again this year, taking a look at the 2022 MLB standings. I promise I have not looked at them at all. Now, have I looked a little bit at what's going on? Yeah, I do have a little bit of an inkling. I do know what's going on with baseball. I do still read about baseball every day, so I do still have a pretty good idea about that. But now I'm actually taking a close, detailed look. So that should be a lot of fun, and that's why we're here today. So just going into the MLB.com website now, I'm going to click into the standings right now. So my first time really taking a deep dive into these standings. Now I am a Blue Jays fan, as you can see. So I do have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in this division, but we're going to take a look into it right now. Now, New York Yankees, wow, 39-15, 1/3 into the season. It's going to be really difficult for them, I think, to maintain that over 700 winning percentage. So, they've won 6 in a row, so they've gotten hot again. The other thing that strikes me looking at their line here is look at that run differential there, a really high run differential of over 100 runs already for the Yankees. Now, the Blue Jays and the Rays are still within striking distance at 7.5 and 8 games behind, respectively, but I think they'd love to bridge that gap a little bit, and they're going to have to continue to play some good baseball. And they're going to have to hope that the Yankees fall off a little bit. Like I said, it's going to be hard for them to maintain that 700 plus winning percentage. Now, Boston's played a lot better of late. You can see they're winners of 6 of their last 10 ball games and 3 in a row. They are currently playing Oakland, one of the weaker teams in baseball. And they do have a pretty positive run differential there of plus 35 runs. Blue Jays have mostly handled them in the series that they played against them so far, but they do still have, I believe, 12 games head to head. They've only played each other a couple times. And then my last thoughts on this division is the Baltimore Orioles. They're still not a good team, but they certainly seem to be a lot much improved as opposed to last year. So, and they've played in a lot of close games. They've shown an ability to come back in some games, and they actually have a bullpen that's worth writing home about. So good for them. Some people in that organization from the Houston Astros organization, Mike Elias and Sig Megdal. It's hard to say his name, but they're getting that team on track, it would seem. Now, moving to the Central, now this division just stinks. It seems like every year. Last year, White Sox, they were the only winning team. And this year, they've taken a couple of steps back. They're actually find themselves below 500, currently percentage points behind the newly minted Cleveland Guardians. And it's Minnesota that's top spots right now. They just gave the Jays a tough time at the Rogers Center, winning 2 of 3 in that series. I like what I've seen from the Twins. I think that trade with the Yankees getting Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez has been good for both teams. And they kind of, they remind me similar to the way Cleveland plays. It's a lot of contact hitters. They don't necessarily have a ton of home run hitters, but they make a lot of good contact, and they've had some pretty good pitching as well. You see a very similar run differential between Minnesota and Cleveland there. So that's pretty interesting. I do think the White Sox could maybe get things going a little bit as we move into the second third of the season, but they got their work cut out for them. It would seem like Minnesota has control of this division for now, but they're only 4.5 and 5 games ahead of those other teams. So certainly not a runaway for the Twins as of yet. Last thoughts on this division before I move ahead to the West. Detroit and Kansas City have really failed to move into a competitive stage in their development. They have 2 of the worst records in the American League, and that has to be disappointing for fan bases out there in those 2 cities. American League West, seeing the Houston Astros at the very top of this division is not a surprise for me at all, despite losing Carlos Correa and some other key contributors over the last couple of years. This is a really good team. They're one of the best teams in the American League, certainly, and they have a healthy lead in this division. I really expected Seattle to be right there with them, kind of nipping at their heels. Somehow they've added some key free agents, guys like Robbie Ray, Eugenio Suarez, Jesse Winker, and Adam Frazier, and they've actually gotten considerably worse. So that's a bit of it's a bit baffling, quite frankly. Now, the Angels got off to a good start, but they're recently losers of 10 straight games. I believe they ended that skid today, but I just don't think there's enough around the superstars that are Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in order for them to really be a competitive ball club. Now, Texas has remade their team, especially their middle infield with Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. And they're starting to see the dividends of those huge investments. Martin Perez has also been a bit of a revelation this season, so I think they're a bit ahead in their development. I think they could be one of the teams that improves their win-loss record from last season. They could have one of the highest increases in wins from last season. Now, moving into the National League, we got the Mets in the top spot there with the biggest lead of any team as far as the division race is concerned, 36-19. That's really impressive. I'm just going to take a quick sip of coffee here. Now, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series last year, as we know, but they really did struggle for the first 3 or 4 months of the season. Alex Anthopoulos was able to pull off a bunch of trades, and it led them, despite only winning 88 games, to winning the World Series. So I think they could find themselves in a similar situation this year. But I think they might have to do it through the wild card route, just because the Mets have been outstanding. I do think the Mets are for real. I do think they're going to win this division. Really impressive run differential there as well for the Mets. I think the Phillies, they cost Joe Girardi his job. They've been one of the most disappointing teams around, and I just still don't think there's enough there. Miami's been better. They signed a slew of solid veteran free agents, Joey Wendell, Avisail Garcia are a couple of them that come to mind. I think they're going to be improved. I thought there would be a 10 or plus win differential for them. I still think that's in the cards, but I still think they're a year away at least from being serious contenders. Jazz Chisholm's improvements nonetheless. Washington is just lost at sea right now. Juan Soto's a terrific player, but they might eventually have to move on from him and find some kind of a trade partner in that regard. Now, the National League Central, to me, this is the Milwaukee Brewers division to win. I know they've only got a 1.5 game advantage over the Cardinals right now, and they actually have an inferior run differential as well. But I just think Milwaukee, especially once they get completely healthy, they just have superior pitching, and they've also shown an ability to hit a lot of home runs, especially at certain times. Guys get hot like Rowdy Tellez, Willie Adames. Christian Yelich has shown a bit more life at the plate as well. My last thought about this division really is the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're sitting there at 24-28, 462 winning percentage. This is one of the most improved teams in baseball. They still have a pretty concerning run differential there of -75, but they're finding ways to win ball games. And last year, as you probably know, they found just about every way imaginable to lose games. So that's got to be encouraging for some fans there out there in Pennsylvania. Cubs are rebuilding, obviously, and the Reds are just kind of a sad team this year. Maybe they could get it going again in a few years, but they are no good this year. Now, National League West, we finally arrived here. The Dodgers, they're looking like the best team around. Besides perhaps the Yankees, really good 660 winning percentage there. Run differential, much like the Yankees, of over 100. It's actually 114, which is even better. Then you got the Padres just 3 back. They've been a lot better this year. Mackenzie Gorse and Manny Machado have been a big reason for that. The Giants have been a really good team this year as well. Peterson got really hot. He had that 3 home run game. He's been a key contributor for them. And they also have Luis Gonzalez, who was the National League Rookie of the Month for May. So they're a really good team. Logan Webb is a terrific pitcher, but they seem like they've fallen off a little bit from last year's historic pace, 107 win season. So they might be more. They're more on pace for about a 90 win season and a wild card berth, but that's still a pretty good year for those fans of the Giants down by the Bay there. Now, Arizona have been a lot improved. They've used a strong pitching staff to be one of the most improved teams in baseball. They had tied for the worst record in the league last year, and they're right around 500, so that's good for them. I was really excited for the Rockies. I thought they finished up last season uh really solid. They were a plus 500 team for the last 100 plus games in 2021. Unfortunately, they've cooled off since their hot start. They haven't gotten much out of Chris Bryant. I really like their corner infield combination of Ryan McMahon and CJ Crone. But they're going to need to play better, certainly in the second third of the season and the third third of the season, if they want to get back to the days of Rocktober, which I boldly predicted in the preseason. So that's it for my MLB standings reveal. Wasn't really shocked by a lot of what I saw. Like I said, I've seen a lot of what's going on around Major League Baseball. So this was pretty much a formality, taking a detailed look at this. So a companion to the article that I have coming out a little bit later on. So thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing or giving this video a like. And I'll have some more content coming out later on with some all-star voting things and other things happening around Major League Baseball. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.